Hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. Lori Williams. Today's topic of conversation is going to be all about how come your patterns are louder than your intentions. So you may be able to recognize what your patterns are and you intend on changing them, but you keep going back on the same patterns and you may not understand exactly why. So today I want to explain to you what's happening so that you can understand it and you can actually take that next step from, recognizing the pattern and intending on changing it. So essentially, shifting the pattern is where the real transformation is going to happen. You're not going to be able to just be aware of it. You have to actually shift it into something that feels better for you in the moment. So self-awareness isn't enough. Self-awareness is that first step that's going to allow you to know what the pattern is, but you need to have that follow through with being able to change it. You need to rewire your responses and how you're showing up in the world, creating new habits, changing the patterns in the moment, and consciously interrupting that typical cycle of how things have played out up until now. So your nervous system actually drives your patterns way more than your mind does. This is a subconscious mind aspect. Your wounds are in the subconscious, which drives 95% of your day-to-day life and how you show up in this world. So you don't rise to the level of what your intention is. You fall to the level of your conditioning. And I find that very, very powerful to realize that it's a lot easier for us to fall back onto our conditioning than it is to rise up to the intention of change. Because once you realize that, you can start to understand how this cycle is happening, why it's happening, and then be able to make that shift and to be able to bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to be. So patterns come from the unhealed wounds, essentially. It's not coming from a conscious choice. It's not coming from a conscious desire to be better, to be more authentically you. You can have as much conscious choice as you want to, but it's still going to be there in the subconscious. You may intend to set a boundary, for an example, but if your pattern is people pleasing, you're going to end up giving in every single time. And you're going to let yourself down every single time. So that's how the intention is going to be very, very quiet in comparison to the pattern. You can want healing and growth, expansion. You can want healthier relationships. But if you just keep repeating the old cycles, then that's what other people are going to experience in that experience with you. They're not experiencing your words. They're not experiencing your intentions. They're experiencing your patterns, your conditioning. So ultimately what it comes down to is the patterns, that you have. First of all, you have to have the self-awareness of what the pattern is. You have to have the understanding of what the wound is. So is the people-pleasing wound? Is it are you silencing yourself? Is it that wound? Like, which wound is it? And then being able to shift that in the moment. I tell my clients all the time, you can journal, you can meditate, you can do all the things, but none of that is going to actually help you in changing the pattern. It's not going to help you. You can journal it out 1,000 times until you actually consciously change that pattern in the moment, doing that rewiring of your responses, creating the new habits, and interrupting that cycle. Essentially, it's not going to change. You're going to keep habitually going back to what's comfortable. I say it all the time that just because it's toxic doesn't mean it's not comfortable. And the same goes for just because it's healthy doesn't mean that it's going to be. The healthy things are typically uncomfortable for us, and the toxic things are very comfortable because it's the known. So give yourself a lot of time, give yourself a lot of grace and understanding that as you're switching the pattern out, as you are rewiring your brain to create new habits and a better way of showing up for yourself and others, that you may fall back on old patterns, and that's okay. The whole point is to not allow yourself to stay there. So essentially, your life isn't going to change because of what you hope for. you're only going to be able to create lasting change because of what you repeat. So when you shift the pattern and your intentions, then at that point your intentions will finally have room to become reality. So staying in the same loop, staying in the same patterns and the same habits just is not effective for you anymore. So stick with it. It's not necessarily a one and done. It takes time. It takes awareness. It takes understanding, and allow yourself that time to be able to create the new patterns, the healthy patterns that are going to reflect back into the healthy relationships that you want and the healing and the growth that you're striving for. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you back here next time.